Alrighty, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. Apparently, that's therapeutic for me because I'm experiencing angst. Yet another dismal performance from Spurs. I just can't even wrap my head around it. So after a beautifully worked set play in the first half, Spurs are up 1-0. And we take that to halftime. And in the second half, Brentford emerged. They made one change, beefing up their midfield. And it just ate us alive. It's like we didn't know how to respond. We couldn't respond to it. And it was 1-1, and then it was 2-1, and then it was 3-1. We were up 1-0 and lost 3-1 in the second half. I really don't know if Harry will be back next year. I've gone round and round in my head about it. You can't believe the hype because football in the UK is like Hollywood celebrities here. There's just so much rumor and speculation, and you don't know what to believe. I don't even know who's going to be our coach. Can't believe what you hear there. We've heard a handful of names come and go for that position. I don't know if Sonny's back next year. He sure didn't look like, well, they lost, so he wasn't happy, but it was the last home game, so they did the traditional walk around the stadium, applauding to the fans, the handful, I guess, that remained. Sonny just looked different. I noticed during the match there was debris of some sort of objects on the field every now and then. Just a small black mass of something or other on the field, and couldn't quite tell what it was until afterwards when I started to see pictures emerging. They were balloons that said ENIC out. ENIC being the ownership group of Spurs. Quite often when you start to see that kind of display, it is the beginning of the end for an ownership group. This, however, is not the first time we've seen ENIC out at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But this one is just, there's something different here. We had a world-class coach, and we didn't cooperate with him, and he left. Mutual consent. And then we tried a couple of other things. Nuno Espirito Santo came from Wolves. That didn't work. And then we got two of the greatest coaches in world football, Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte. And with both of them, I, like probably a lot of other Spurs fans, thought, here we go. Here we go. We're finally going to fucking win something. And what happened? They both left, absolutely destroying hopes. But, of course, Conte's rant after his last match was notable and much more specific in his critique of the club and how it's run and its players and how they play. But each subsequent failure at the coaching position, especially when it's two guys like that who have impeccable resumes, makes it more difficult to get another world-class coach. We are considered still, I'm not sure how, one of the big six in England. If I'm remembering correctly and thinking clearly, we're the only Big Six club that's actually English owned. And yet we've not won a trophy in over 30 years, a major trophy. So, I don't know what to expect for next year. We have one game left on the road at Leeds, who's fighting to not be relegated. So, they will have more to play for, and they will be at home. And Ellen Road is a tough place to play for anybody, but especially a team like ours who's just floundering right now. I'm glad Harry scored today, because it might be his last goal for Spurs. I wish Sonny would have had a better season. He won the Golden Boot last year and didn't follow that up very well this year. Put a lot of that on Antonio Conte. He didn't make the most out of Sonny's abilities and his natural tendencies on the pitch, but man, oh man, what a year. I'm saying what a year like it's over. Like, we do have one game left. Maybe they'll surprise me. I think it would definitely be a surprise. But that's football. You take the good with the bad, and this year it's been more bad than good. So, what do I do in response? I go buy some produce. Damn. Okay, so got home from the grocery store, put the few things that I got away. I don't know what else I did after that. Watched football. That was good. Man City is Premier League champions. Not that I'm a Man City fan, but there was another team that was in contention for the championship that I would not have appreciated. Fuck Arsenal, I hate them. Anyway, and then I put myself through a lengthy, torturous leg workout, and I took video so you could see why, if you see me in the next day or two, or maybe 3, I'll be walking like I'm 162 years old. So I'm gonna condense it and speed it up a little bit for you, but here's some workout footage, and maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Okay, so this is me on my actual second set of squats. I'm doing 5x5, so 5 squats and 5 deadlifts. And yeah, it's interesting, but doing them back to back like that with virtually no rest between them, even though it's only 5 reps, kind of wears you out. And usually that's, well, not usually, but sometimes that's my minimum. I'll do a 5x5, and that's my leg day. But today was different. I am just going to torture myself in many other ways that you will see here. And so what is this now? The 3rd set. I'm slowly working my way up in the weight on these. So today was at 135 on the squats and 180 on the deadlifts. So here's the final of the 5 sets. Yeah, it was good. I was pleased. I probably could have done 140, but 135 was good enough. And looks like my butt's hungry. So we went from this to doubles on the deadlift, starting at 200, and then 215, and then 230. And let me think. Yep, there we go. 240. Then we did TKEs. TKE is terminal knee extension. And it's harder than it looks. Knee extension is your quadricep muscle. And so this is where you're going to primarily feel that burn. Doing 15 to 20 reps. Usually, I think today was in the neighborhood of 15. I don't remember exactly. And then we hit our calves for a little while. It's the one body part that I'm actually pleased with. Genetic gift from my parents that I got good calves, I guess. Anyway, so we did a couple sets, 3 sets actually, of seated calves, because seated calves are different from standing calves. It's actually 2 different muscles, if you didn't know that. So if you're trying to get your calves bigger, you got to do them both. This is a little thing I just call hip glute complex, usually just say hip glute. So it's a hip drop. I actually have a 50-pound sandbag on or 30-pound sandbag on my shoulders. And then we do a hip abduction, and then we do a rear, I guess you would call it an abduction that way too, but to the back side, to the posterior, hitting the glutes and hams. I'd say 5-pound ankle weight on each foot, just for a little resistance. And I think that's the only. I might have done 2 sets on the video. Yeah. So here's another set. You can see kind of a little more that there's not a big range of motion on the hip drop, but it is an important muscle. As we fatigue, so if we're running or something like that, you start to drop those hips a little bit. You're going to strengthen those muscles to keep that from happening. Not that I'm running anytime soon, but it plays into a lot of other things. And just trying to keep my hips strong. I'm still having issues with my left hip. So the importance of me trying to keep things strong in that area is big for me right now. Don't want to have hip issues after I hopefully get this one fixed. Lunges. I put that platform out there angled. Makes it a little easier on my feet that I'm not striking out too far. I do have a 30-pound sandbag on my shoulders that you can barely see when I'm there at the very front of that motion. And I'm really just kind of touching that squat rack out of habit and just kind of help me with my balance a little bit. Since my feet have gotten fucked up, I don't have the greatest of balance sometimes. And here we finish everything off with some calves because, like I said, that's my best body part.